I am here to speak on the health segment of the conference tonight. And our presentation, this is a new presentation. Usually we do specific cancers, but this is called Reduce Your Cancer Risk. So we're looking at cancer overall. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath running. So first slide, we're looking at what is cancer. So basically, as you can see on this diagram here, it's really when our cancer cells start growing out of control, or they grow in an abnormal fashion. So the purpley colored ones, that's what normal cells would look like. And then the blue area that you see, that's what cancer cells will start to look like. As you can see, they're much larger, they're bigger, and they're going above the purple colored ones. And we actually have more than 100 million cells. And it's important for us, which is part of the messaging in this presentation, is to make sure that you're taking care of your body and making healthy choices for your body. So the top 5 cancers that we have globally are lung, then there's breast, colorectal, prostate, and skin. And this is for men and women, the top 5. As you can see, breast and lung, they're now on par. They're both 2.09 million cases worldwide. So the top 5 cancer cases in women, we have breast, colon, endometrial, lung, and cervical. And then the top 5 cancers in men, prostate, lung, colorectal, bladder, and melanoma. And melanoma is the deadliest form of skin cancer. And I will take questions at the end, right, Frank? So risk factors in general. So when we look at the global risk factors, and this is coming from the World Health Organization, which is a body or a subset of the United Nations, and we actually are a member of the Pan-American arm of the World Health Organization, and that covers the Americas. So when it comes to the top risk factors globally, tobacco, alcohol, poor diet, lack of physical activity, being overweight, and infections. And when we look at tobacco, alcohol, most of these, I'll just go in a little detail as we go along in the next slide or two. And then generally we have other risk factors would be aging, over sun exposure, radiation exposure, chemicals and other substances that could be from products that you use on your bodies, different types of food that you're consuming can be loaded with lots of toxic chemicals, pesticides. When you look at the produce that you're consuming, a lot of our produce, or most of our produce, is sprayed with pesticides. It's toxic and harmful to our bodies. And then various viruses and bacteria. Certain hormones can increase your risk, and then also having a family history of cancer. And these are some of the stats. This is from Cancer Research UK. So a lot of our information that we use the 2 top cancer organizations from the United States and from the UK. So we have Cancer Research UK and American Cancer Society. And here you can see that smoking is attributed to around 33% of cancer cases. So if you smoke, do your best to quit. Infections, 38% of cancer cases are attributed to infections. So going to the doctors, getting regular checkups, making sure that your body's in tip-top shape, and if there are any problems, no matter how large or small you may think they are, you should always go and consult your doctor just to rule things out. Alcohol consumption is responsible for around 12% of cancer cases. These are stats for global cases, and more research is proving that alcohol consumption is directly related to several cancers that are out there. You have bowel cancer, throat cancer, breast cancer, stomach cancer. It's so many cancers that are directly attributed to alcohol. Smoking, it's lung, but it's also esophageal, throat, oral. It's many different types of cancers that are attributed to smoking and alcohol. And not just first-hand smoking if you're a smoker, but also if you're a smoker and you're smoking around others, you're causing them to have a risk of being diagnosed with lung cancer or something else. A lot of women who have been diagnosed with lung cancer globally, even here in Bermuda, their lung cancer is attributed to second-hand smoking, not being smokers. So what can you do? So as I mentioned, quit smoking if you are a smoker. And we're looking at lifestyle changes. These are things that you can change. You can't change your family history. If you're a woman and you're at high risk for breast cancer, you can't change the fact that you're a woman. If you're a man, you can't change the fact that you have a prostate and you may be diagnosed with prostate cancer. But when it comes to lifestyle, we have the power, we have control, it's our choice. So when it comes to reducing your risk, it's important to look at your lifestyle choices. What are you doing to put yourself at a high risk or to lower your risk? So one, quitting smoking, reducing or quitting alcohol consumption, which I mentioned earlier. There was a BBC report a few years back that said no amount is actually safe of alcohol. Any amount can cause cancer. There was a man that they followed on the BBC documentary, and he actually was diagnosed with cancer, shocked out of his mind, and it was directly related to his alcohol consumption. He thought he was a social drinker. He didn't think he drank that much. But as the report showed with the research and the data, that no amount is really safe. However, there are recommendations that doctors give and other research has shown. Research sometimes is going to contradict each other, or doctors contradict each other. You just have to know what's best for you and know that you can drink less and reduce your amount. Like I think it's 1 glass a day for women of alcohol and 2 glasses for men a day. Even that's probably too much because you never know what else is going on inside your body. Cutting out processed and red meat. So processed food in general is not good. It's loaded with toxins, chemicals. Red meats, usually not good. They've been red meat has been directly related to several cancers as well. It's best if you do eat red meat to make sure that it's grass-fed, knowing that the foods you're eating are clean, they come from farm-fresh animals, they're not being fed with lots of antibiotics, and so it's important to be a savvy consumer. You need to read your labels and ask your supermarkets where their products are coming from, what kind of food the animals are being fed if you can. We do have local produce, local farmers here. Maybe better to just stick to the local produce if you can. Be safe, exercise 30 minutes 5 times a week. So when we say 5 times a week, 30 minutes, this is the general recommendation globally. And it's important to exercise moderately to rigorous, not just a stroll. You need to make sure that your blood is flowing, that heart is pumping, because that's what's going to keep your immune system strong. So the eating healthy, the exercising, that keeps your immune system up and running and functioning optimally. You don't want to be laying off a lot, just sleeping, resting, chilling, smoking, eating toxic food, drinking, and not exercising to get all those toxins out of your body or to keep your immune system strong. Also being safe in the sun. So one of my main presentations is protecting the skin you're in. And this is a biggie because we live on a subtropical island. A lot of people think, oh, I've lived in Bermuda all my life, I don't need sun protection, I'm fine, nothing wrong with me. But skin cancer is real, it's on the rise globally. The Surgeon General about 3 or 4 years ago in the United States put out a call to action because people are addicted to tanning. A lot of people are going out in the sun, especially the younger people. You do have some older people who are wearing too much protection, where you're putting on all the sunscreen, covering up, or hiding from the sun. But the sun is good for us. It gives us vitamin D, it kills harmful bacteria and fungi, and it makes us feel good when we're stressed or depressed or not in a happy mood. Sometimes just getting in the sun can make you feel better. So you need about 15 to 20 minutes in the sun with no sun protection in order to absorb sufficient amounts of vitamin D. So please, if you do go in the sun, be safe. Go to weather.bm. We have a partnership with Bermuda Weather Service, and they record the UV index levels all throughout. Every single day we record the radiation levels here in Bermuda in real time now. We have our own device called a radiometer, sits down at on top of one of their buildings in St. David's. So make sure that if you're not sure what the level is, what protection you need, go to weather.bm. They have a graph. It'll show you when it's going to be peak, when it's going to be low. I'm not including all of that in my presentation, but typically when I do the protecting the skin you're in presentation, I give all the details about the UV index. And my business cards are over here, so if anyone wants to take that to book a presentation with us, feel free to do so. Making sure that you get screened and have regular checkups. That's a biggie. A lot of folks don't even know what the screenings are. They don't know what the screening ages are. So for colorectal cancer, you should be getting screened by your doctor, doing a colonoscopy. The recommended age is 50, but if you have a family history, it could be 45 or maybe even younger. Breast mammograms, I'll be going into that slide again. I don't want to go into all the details now because I have that in the next slide. Learn about carcinogens and the chemicals that you're consuming, as I mentioned earlier about pesticides, and asking your farmers or the vegetable cart, if you're going to the local grocery stores, not being afraid to ask where their produce has come from and what the animals are being fed for the meats. It's better to eat wild-caught fish as well. I forgot to mention that. Any farm-raised fish is usually not good because of what they're giving the fish, and it's not very, it's toxic on your bodies. So it's better to have, I prefer local fish, and because it's wild-caught, and our water's so much cleaner. And know your family health history. A lot of folks do not know that they have a family history of various cancers. So it's important to know this, so when you do go to your doctors for an annual exam or just a regular checkup, that you're able to inform your doctor of what your family health history is, so that your doctor can keep an eye out for certain things that may pop up with your body that you may not understand, but your doctor knows what your family health history is. The doctor can better diagnose and guide you along your way. So reduce your risk. This is just a segment from, we have infographics that we put out for the various cancers that we focus on throughout the year. And this graphic here is on all of our infographics, because these are the key things that you need to do to reduce your risk. These are lifestyle choices. These are the things that you can do to reduce your risk. Again, it's diet, exercise, smoking, quitting smoking, reducing your alcohol consumption, and getting screened for the various screenings that are out there. So this is a video that I had. I don't think it's going to work very well because it's very choppy. Did you guys get one of the things out? The sound's not even coming on. Hard not one. No, the sound was coming out earlier. I didn't know if one of the cords were removed. Okay. I can always send the video to Brandon for him to share with everyone. So for cancer screening in Bermuda, these are basically the guidelines, and we always suggest to people, talk to your doctor. Do not be afraid to ask questions. A lot of people, they come out of a doctor's visit and talk about stuff that they probably should have asked, but they were either a little nervous or uncomfortable. It is your health, this is your body, this is your life, your future. Please ask as many questions as you feel you need to when you go for your doctor's visit. Don't be afraid. It doesn't matter what you ask. Your doctor may or may not have the answers, but you have the right to ask because it's your health. So children ages 11 to 12, we recommend, this is the global recommendation, that they start being vaccinated for the HPV vaccine. And the HPV vaccine, it stands for human papillomavirus, and this particular vaccine is known to cause cervical cancer. And when we're looking at this, 11 to 12 is not just for girls, it's also for boys. So if any of you guys have children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, whatever the case may be, it's not just for you in this room. This is for you to go out and share with your community, with your loved ones. family and friends, and ensuring that people are aware that boys and girls should be vaccinated, because boys are carriers. No, they don't develop cervical cancer, but if they have the HPV, they can pass it on to a young lady if they're sexually active. And then so we recommend 11 to 12 because typically children aren't sexually active at this age. But I just actually was on a conference call today regarding HPV, and the new recommendations are now ages 9 to 45 years of age, because we've seen many women in their 20s, 30s, 40s being diagnosed with cervical cancer, and then men or males are also affected, because you'll see anal cancer, penile cancer, and different forms of oral cancer, because people are still having unprotected sex, and if they carry the HPV, they can still, males especially, can be diagnosed with those other cancers. So women, it's the cervical, but males, it's the other cancers that you'll see. And making sure you follow the screening recommendations for how many doses and how often, how far apart the doses are supposed to be. And then women ages 21 years of age should begin starting their regular CAP exam, and this also can be a tool that they use for preventing or catching cervical cancer early, and going for their annual pelvic exam with their doctor. And then women 40 years plus, it's recommended to receive an annual mammogram to check for any issues with their breasts. And then men ages 40 years to receive a DRE, and that's digital rectal exam. And a lot of men are very nervous and uneasy about it. But yes, I'm a woman, but I've had DREs because I have 4 children. So it's really nothing in and out. It's quick. And it's slight discomfort if you're not used to that, but at the same time, it's your health. It's just a few seconds with the doctor checking you, and then it's over, as opposed to getting a sentence saying a cancer diagnosis, and then you may have missed it, and the cancer diagnosis may come late, or you're stage 4. And a lot of people, especially in the Black community, they're diagnosed with cancer usually at a stage 4, which is the last stage, the most serious stage, where most times it's nothing doctors can do. And we see that a lot in our community in Bermuda, in the African American community in the United States. Sometimes it's because people of color do not have the resources or the means to proper health care. They can't afford it. And sometimes it's because they don't trust the doctor. Sometimes they just don't have the information they need to make an informed decision. So we do encourage people to not be afraid, have these conversations. And if you are unsure about men, if you unsure about getting the prostate exam, women unsure about getting a mammogram, please have a conversation with your doctor and ask the importance of it and how it can save your life. And then men and women 50 years and over should be getting screened for colorectal cancer, which would be a colonoscopy. That's what most doctors recommend. There are other forms of testing screening for colorectal, but the most common test is a colonoscopy, and now I think they have a form of hydrolysis, or using water so it's less invasive, and you don't have to be knocked out or put to sleep and go through all the bowel prep, which is what a lot of people do not like. So again, if you have any questions, you guys can ask at the end. So treatments that are available for cancer: surgery, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, targeted therapy, immunotherapy. Here in Bermuda, we now have, we've had chemotherapy for years, but now we have radiation therapy at our center. We've been up and running for 2 years, and that's thanks to the community for all the donations, all the sponsorship, and hard work of our team to make sure that we're able to provide that service here in Bermuda, so folks don't have to leave their families for long periods just for a 15-minute appointment. So when you go to get radiation, you're in and out in 15 to 20 minutes. Whereas if you're overseas, 15 to 20 minutes, you go back to your hotel and you're by yourself. Whereas here, you can go back to work, or you can be with your loved ones. You don't have to have that long distance and separation. So here are the services that we offer at our center. So we offer mammogram, We offer ultrasound, we offer bone densitometry, we offer prostate and breast biopsies, and we also offer radiation therapy. And as I think I was talking to Angela about it, we have what we call the Equal Access Fund. And the Equal Access Fund is actually driven by the community. It exists because of the community. We rely heavily on donors and donations from any and everybody, all walks of life, because the Equal Access Fund allows anyone who comes to our doors and they require any of those services that I mentioned, we don't turn them away. We don't say, oh, you don't have insurance, you gotta go, sorry, we can't help you. Anybody that walks through our door, whether they need a $100,000 treatment for radiation, or they need a mammogram, which is $326, either one of those treatments or the other services that we provide, if someone walks through, they're not insured or they are underinsured, because of the Equal Access Fund, we will cover the cost of those services for people who come to our doors. So we're very thankful to the community for continued support, and this is why we make sure that we do our best to continue to provide these services to the community. Because you just never know, one day when your loved one may be diagnosed with cancer and they need radiation therapy and they would like to stay on island and do it, or they can't afford to travel overseas and do it, they can more than likely come to our center and receive radiation therapy, and we won't say you have to pay for it. So these are the many ways, or few ways, that people can get involved if you're interested in being involved with our center and helping out. If you're a survivor, we encourage you to come to us and tell your story. And we love to share survivor stories because it helps others in the community know that they're not alone, and they can have an idea of what someone else went through, and it may help them with their cancer journey. Becoming a volunteer, we're always looking for volunteers. We have Relay for Life coming up May 17th and 18th, 24-hour event at National Stadium. It's a fun event, but it is our biggest fundraiser, and it's a time for survivors, caregivers, family members, friends, everyone to get together as a community, raising funds to help our Equal Access Fund stay alive and continue to support those who need our services. Also becoming a sponsor or a donor. So we're always looking for sponsors for Relay for Life. It's a huge event. It costs lots of money to put on that size event. And we are constantly welcoming new sponsors. So if anyone here would like to be a sponsor, or if you know of anyone, and you can always make a donation online. There are many ways to become involved, and you can even start a team. Maybe any of the construction guys would like to put in a construction crew to sign up for Relay for Life. But we have many events throughout the year. We have our men's health events. The men's health screening is free, that we provide to the public every November, and we have various health organizations, health providers there. We have doctors there who do free DREs. They do prostate exams there for the men who don't want to go to the doctor's office and they just want to come, walk in and out. We do blood sugar, blood testing. So we do make sure that we're providing things for the community that the community needs. And then we have the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, where we're raising funds for breast cancer awareness. And in between, there are other events that pop up. So we're very busy, but we're very thankful that we have the support of the community. So if you want more information, you can always go to our website, www.chc.bm. You can also go to the American Cancer Society website, and theirs is cancer.org. And then also we like to use cancerresearchuk.org. So those are the three main sites if you want cancer information, and those two sites outside of ours are the websites that we use for information. So any questions? Yeah.
What's the uptake of the HPV medication? What's the uptake of HPV
Vaccinations?
Yeah.
We did see an increase but then it's kind of leveled off. So Department of Health, they're getting a little worried that we don't have enough children being vaccinated, because if they're not, then we may see a spike in cervical cancer. So right now, cervical cancer is low in Bermuda. In other countries, it's high, where they're having pop-up clinics. So if you guys want more information on cervical cancer and the HPV vaccine, you can go to ladyganga.org. That's a short film that we showed back in January for Cervical Cancer Month. And then there's Someone You Love, the HPV epidemic, and it hits the various different age groups, different women, one African American woman, one Latin American woman, and one Caucasian lady in the film, showing how cervical cancer impacted them, and one actually loses her life. She was the youngest of the 4 or 5 stories. So very impactful, and just really trying to get the information out there to encourage people, because some of you have the anti-vaccinators, people who are completely against it, which we understand, but people still need to make informed decisions. If you don't want to vaccinate, make sure you find out what it all entails before you make that decision. And we encourage doctors to make sure they're giving informed decisions, information to their patients so that they can make informed decisions. So right now it's kind of low with the vaccinations, but they're trying to get that. The Department of Health wants that to get back up so that they make sure cervical cancer stays down or completely is obliterated.